Hey, my name's David. I wanted to share with y'all my grandfather's pistol that he brought back from World War II. It's a CZ Model 27. Found out some pretty interesting stuff about it here recently. It's known as the CZ 27 or the P27, which says on the magazine, or it's known as the VZ27. There's a V right there. It's actually a German officer's gun. It's got the stamp, the eagle over the swastika, right there. It's hard to see on this camera. It's not very good quality. It's my phone. Original grips. Actually come with the original holster. It's in bad shape. But it's got my grandfather's name and a number below it, inside of it. The story is he was, I don't know if he was patrolling or what, but he come across like a haystack with 4 boots sticking out of it, so he walked up, fired his gun to the ground. 2 German officers jumped up. They took their weapons and took them as, prisoners of war, I reckon. And he ended up bringing the guns back home. But on the way, he actually traded one of them for a watch, which I'm not sure exactly what kind of gun it was, but he did say that, come to find out, it was very, very rare pistol, which this one's not terribly rare at all. There's a lot of them made. This one has the FNH stamp on it, which is for the factory. It was made in, I think it's in Prague, Czechoslovakia, but FNH stands for the German Ordnance Code. Whenever they occupied Czechoslovakia, this gun was made. The serial numbers would put it in early World War II is when this pistol was made. It's pretty interesting just looking at it. At the top you see like the ripples in the metal. You see it on the bottom. They made these guns to work, not be extra fancy, I guess. But it's a nice gun. I actually bought some bullets for it the other day. Bought some 32 autos, Smith & Wesson, Winchesters. It fired great. Like I said, I think I've shot 8-9 rounds through it. But I also wanted to talk about, which this is not a sales pitch of any sort, but come across some gun oil about 2 weeks ago at a gun store in Augusta. And I took every one of my guns apart and cleaned them, wiped them down, and I decided to do it on this pistol. And so far it's amazed me. But this stuff here it's called Amber Tech. I think I paid $10.99 for it. It's a small bottle, but it goes a long ways. I have a 1100, Remington 1100 that's probably 100% condition. It's I think from 1979, and took all my guns apart, cleaned them up. I actually took the Smith & Wesson right here apart. Whenever I bought it, the cylinder wouldn't even turn. Now this gun works great. Took it apart, wiped down all the parts with this stuff, and what's so good about it is it's not oily to the touch. It's real slick. Doesn't leave fingerprints all over everything. It doesn't even have oil on the gun, but I was told to put a few drops on and take a small cloth and just buff it in, and then wipe away all the excess. And this stuff is pretty amazing. I mean, like I said, all my guns I normally use hops or hoppies or whatever you call it, but every time I wipe the guns down, you know, whenever I touch them, I have to re-wipe them down because you see fingerprints all over, and it looks bad. But, you know, this is a synthetic oil, whereas this is supposed to be natural. From what I read about it, I think 99% all natural oils, so it won't deteriorate the grips on this gun in any way, which I'm glad to know that, you know, especially because this gun gets put up and not touched. But like I said, this isn't a sales pitch for AmberTech, but I felt like if for people who don't know about this, they might want to try it. Like I said, they're just supposed to put a few drops on and buff it. Just buff it in. And it's supposed to bond with the metal. I mean, you can tell. I mean, if you run your fingers across it, it is so slick. But it doesn't leave fingerprints all over it because there's actually no oil on it after you wipe it all off. So, I really like it. Like I said, I've only had it for a few weeks, the oil. So, I mean, you know, I'm figuring that if the outside's so slick, then that's got to be good because I buffed all the internal parts too. I mean, I think it, like I said, I haven't had any problem yet, but if I do in the future, I'll, you know, make another post and tell y'all about it. But yeah, I also, my grandfather lives close to Spartanburg. I'm be going up there later on today, and I want him to talk about World War II with me, and we'll get a video of it. I know he fought in 7 major campaigns. I think it was from 1940 to 1944. He's got a lot of stories to tell, and I need a video of it for, you know, future generations. So, but also I'll probably post it on YouTube too, so that way, you know, it tells the story of the pistol. Also, I want to try and get him to talk about a story he told me probably a year or two ago. I was talking to him at Christmas, and, well, let me back up and say, all right, my grandfather's 96. He has never told me how old he was, or my father, which my father thinks 65, or my grandmother. My grandmother did not know how old he was until maybe 8 years ago, because he wouldn't talk about it. I think he's maybe 10 years older than her, and he just quit telling people how old he was. But come to find out, he doesn't even know exactly how old he is anyways. He doesn't have a birth certificate, you know, he was born at home in the early 20s. They didn't keep very good records. So, he's a quiet person, and he doesn't talk a lot. But here for the past few years, he's been opening up about things, but I think it's because he realizes his health's getting bad and he just wants to share with people. But anyways, I was talking to him a couple Christmases ago. I think not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before, and he was talking about World War II. And, you know, I've been hearing all these conspiracy theories about, oh, you know, Holocaust never happened, blah, 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 you know. Well, you know, he's never said, so I never assumed that he had ever seen anything like that. And I asked him what he thought about that. I asked him, you know, I said, you know, there's a conspiracy theory that never happened. He was like, he just looked at me and said, what? I was like, so I repeated it. He said, oh, no, it happened. And he told me the name of the concentration camp they went to. Can't remember it now. I'll make sure to get him to tell me. But he said that they arrived there and they had to, basically the soldiers had to, I guess, or they loaded them up in trucks and took them off and buried them, like the Jews. He said they hauled off, I think, 27 truckloads. He said they had, at the concentration camp, they had conveyor belts set up that were, you know, taking the bodies off and dumping them in piles. I guess, I don't know if they were burning them or burying them or what, but he kind of, I guess, talking about it, kind of got a little bit choked up and said he didn't really want to talk about that anymore. So I might not try and push that subject too much tonight, but I am going to ask him about it, because I think, there's not a lot of people who are still alive who have witnessed what he has, and I think it's a good story, good story for people to know. So I'll be posting another video pretty soon. But anyways, thanks for watching this video.